Greetings, listeners. Welcome to How the World Should Work, the podcast with a purpose, where we talk about things that actually matter. This is your host speaking, author, journalist, and otherwise aimlessly wandering millennial, Matt Shao. I'll be hosting alongside my good friend Johnny here. As many in my generation can probably relate to, and many who aren't, I spent several years after college trying to navigate the endlessly frustrating world of business to carve out what I was told was a successful life for myself. 6 years in the insurance industry, followed by a year of owning a small business, made me feel like I was on a decent track. Until August the 4th, 2015, when my world was turned upside down. That was the day I lost my mother and best friend, and suddenly every priority of mine completely shifted. I began to look at life from a totally different angle, and as a result, decided to drop everything and pursue writing. A dream my mother had pushed me towards my entire life, but one I was always too scared to chase. Fast forward 2 years, and I'm now a published author, a columnist at my local newspaper, an ever-growing blogger, and now we have a podcast. Which brings me to the point at hand. Here you'll be listening to topics pulled from various themes and motifs from my main writing project, the Continuity series. Although the primary purpose, as with any work of fiction, is to entertain, it also serves as a platform to express many of the thoughts and feelings we all seem to have with this crazy world we're living in. From deeper issues like social equality to lighter things such as modern dating, we'll be covering a wide array of things that we all seem to think about but don't seem to talk about very frequently. So with all that said, allow me to introduce our co-host, Mr. Gentleman Johnny Wiggins.
My name is Jonathan Wiggins. I've decided to join this project because I truly believe in what it stands for. Our goal here isn't to use this as a soapbox, so all you can just hear us talk. Instead, we hope that by talking about these issues, we can help create a better awareness of the things that affect our lives. By talking about these issues that we otherwise tend to ignore, I think we'll get a much better understanding of them, which can help us apply this newfound understanding to our lives in a meaningful way.
So, topic number one, we are going to talk about purpose and sort of the higher level way to look at life. So the quote I want to introduce the topic with is something by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And it goes like this: "The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you lived and lived well." So I think that illustrates exactly the sentiment that we're going for with the talk about purpose. So the way this applies to the story is the main character, Carson, really struggles with that. He's a sales consultant that doesn't feel like he's living really a meaningful life. He helps people learn how to sell stuff. Not that that's not an honorable, noble career. That's definitely needed in a lot of arenas. But for him, personally, his character, he struggles with that. He wants to do something significant with his life and make an impact on the world. So that's kind of the overarching direction that we're going to take this conversation. So we're going to talk about things, I think a lot of, especially millennials, haven't decided what that, really means to them. We're so caught up in the hustle and bustle of everyday life that we don't have time to really think about these kinds of things. So I'd like to start out by asking, if someone was giving your eulogy, and which is essentially the summary of your life as it is to other people, at least the perspective they have of you, unless you're really pretentious and wrote your own eulogy, which I've seen people do, but a real eulogy, what would you want to have people say? So I think, Will, we'll start with you. What would you want people to say? What purpose do you want to have in the world?
Well, I don't know. Eulogy, that's pretty far off, I would hope. So
You never know.
Yeah, well, yeah, you really
with Johnny
don't day to day, and Johnny could go off at any moment. My eulogy. I guess I would honestly kind of want to. I hate to say it this way, but I would want to try and have a fairly generic eulogy. I'm not saying like cookie cutter, but I mean like he was a great father, son, uncle, whatever, and I would past that, once they got past all that, however I end up making my impact on society or if I don't make it on society as a whole, my local area, whatever. That I want him to be able to say, Will was whatever, and he did it, with such gusto and in such a great way that this whatever it is, whatever the purpose is, will never be the same. And
Well, let me pause you there.
Okay.
That's a good point. You said you wanted to be remembered in a certain way for whatever impact you had on the world.
Right. Yeah.
That, I think, is the underlying question. Is, do you know? I think we all want to have a meaningful life, right? I think we all universally agree on that. Unless somebody, for whatever reason, says, I don't want to matter, I don't really care, whatever. What purpose do you think that is? Like, what would you want to be? What impact would you want to have? Or do you even know? I mean, I think the point is most people don't know.
I was to say, I don't think I'm to the point in my life yet where I know what that is. I know I'm definitely moving that way. There are things in my head that have set more and more into a way of kind of being like, well, this is how you're going to change things. This is how people are going to remember you. But I still don't really have that one thing that in my eulogy.
You get a Dorito bag? I apologize.
Right? Matt's being very rude right now.
I'm starving. Okay, it's gonna happen.
Might as well just get it out of the way.
I'm not editing that out.
Yeah, no, I guess. Where was I? I lost myself.
Yeah, so you basically are saying that you haven't figured that out.
Yeah, I haven't figured that out, and I don't think a 23-year-old should have his purpose figured out yet. I think my current purpose in life is to figure out my purpose. Is to find it.
Okay. That's a good answer. Yeah, and that's something. I mean, just before we get to Johnny, we're gonna talk. That's gonna be in the comment. Like, what things would help people figure that out? And we'll talk about that in the the posts on social media and everything, the responses we've got. But so Johnny, take it from there. What do you want to be remembered for, or what do you think is your purpose?
Honestly, I couldn't give you a straightforward answer to that question. I believe there comes a time in everyone's life where they really start considering these questions and putting in an effort to figure out the answers. My time came around the age of 20, when I thought for sure I was meant to work for the FBI. A year later, I decided I'd be better off working as an attorney. Sometime after that, I wanted to save lives and become a doctor. And I sat down one day and realized I'm still figuring myself out. I have a good idea of who I am, but I have no idea how I'd like to dedicate my time on this earth. Then comes the stress of feeling behind, especially when the people around you all seem to have their lives figured out and on track. So I started researching and trying to figure out what my next step was. What I found is that the vast majority of people struggle with finding their purpose. Now, there is no time limit when it comes to figuring out these sort of things. You'll wear yourself out if you waste time stressing over it. Now, with all that said, my answer is I have no idea. Yet. I've picked up several different hobbies, and every day I push myself to try at least one new thing. And my hope with that is to eventually find something I'm passionate about. And be able to say, this is the reason that I'm here. This is my purpose.
So, can you guys, I'm going to go ahead. I posted something on Facebook earlier, so I asked people what, that very question. So I'm going to go ahead and look back here. If you guys can take it from there for a minute, I'm going to go back and get some of those responses that we got. Both success stories from people who do have that figured out and for people that don't. But what do you guys think? What would it take for you to figure it out?
Yeah. I think for something like purpose, it could be as simple as just meeting the right person or people, the right group of people, or meeting the right boss, or having the right coworker, the person that says, that just lets out one little in passing kind of statement, and suddenly a light bulb in your head goes, oh,
you're missing the biggest factor.
There we go.
Biggest factor.
So this is Greg here.
The biggest factor is kids. People have kids. Lifestyles change, mentalities change.
But should it take that?
Should it?
What if you never have kids?
No, I don't have kids, but
people could wander aimlessly, throughout life, waiting for that catalyst, right? And that's I'm trying to see what we can.
It's like you try to. It's really easy to try to envision what the purpose is, and try to get really literal about all the. See, like when I graduated from Vandy and I started traveling, I told them I went to Germany and played football and also backpacked for half a year throughout Germany. So like, you meet people, like if you watch the media, you would think Germany would have this whole type of feel to it, but it's completely different. It's way freer, it's way much more accepting, and a lot more people speak English everywhere. But so it kind of opened my eyes to different people's lifestyles. Americans that went over there and lived over there, players that went over there, stayed over there. So for the longest time, I was always interested in how people could just, for instance, how important one's job was as opposed to how important one's relationship was. People would leave their job to go with someone who was a doctor or whatever. I was actually in that position where
because they were a doctor.
I was dating a girl who went to Vanderbilt. Now she's at Dartmouth Medical School, and they're like,
why'd you break up with her?
I'm just joking. Well, yeah, like she broke up with me, but again, it was I was young. I was like 21. 20.
Well, shout out here.
Yeah, I was 21, 20 years old, but I mean, it always interested me how like some people could, one half of the relationship could work a 9 to 5 and support the family, and the other half would support the family 24/7.
Yeah.
And but some people a woman might never give up her career for a family, or a man might never give up a career. So it's just a matter of what you value growing up, man. And I mean, like my lifestyle is way different than my parents' lifestyle, but is it supposed to be that way? I mean,
that's a good question.
I mean, that's it's just a matter of how the chips fall, I guess. But to find passion, I think passion relies on your dreams, man. I think dreams is a little bit more concrete than people think. I think your dreams is actually when you are at rest with yourself, you have a feeling of what you are interested in doing.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
If it's not like a profession, it's you doing something active. It's you having the same conversation with people around you. Even if you're in the middle of the country and there's no technology around you, but you're interested in something.
Yeah.
I told a friend earlier. I said one of the biggest things I think is if you find something that you like, the most important thing you can do, if it's film, if it's drawing, if it's watching movies, if it's being a critic, if it's being an athlete, whatever you're passionate about, no matter what age you are, try to find out how that thing started and learn about its birth and its progression, and then you'll learn more about yourself because you'll realize why you like that shit. Yeah. And then you'll realize different things you like. Right. And you gotta also, man, the biggest thing is extroverted, introverted. Find out which one you are and what people you're around, because I'm different around different people. I'm quiet around certain people and extroverted around other people. Yeah. So all these different things may help you find what you want to do, and I don't think it's as hard as trying to get too detailed. I mean, hell, squirrels don't look at us finding out what we want to do, So it's like you could always live the life and try to, and we're smart, but who knows? But so
I think what I'm taking out of that is you and Will had kind of a similar. It sounds to me like one of the best ways to figure that out is inspiration. I mean, who inspires you? In getting exposed to people that broaden your mind and get you, like I said.
I was gonna say we all have that like you were saying, that thing about us that when we do it or when we think about it or when we're making ourselves better at it, we kind of feel a part of us kind of light up, kind of with like this. Passion was the word he used. Yeah. It's like your soul kind of goes.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
This is me. Like this is what I'm doing, and this is what I should be doing.
Right.
But it's
and you can be you can be good at so many different things. That's the problem too. Is being a millennial and being good at many things, and they're trying to tell you that you need to focus on one. But that's why these big companies are coming out, because like I said, this company I'm starting, the main thing I want to keep is that we're all away from each other, so we're all able to work independently. So when we come together, it's just going to be brilliance. But when we break apart,
most old school people would hate that.
Yeah, and so they try to So like you should be able to create that business model, and not only that, but when it expands, you have to make room for that expansion as well. So it's just, again, I'm getting onto my own thing, but it's like you said, you just got to find out what your niche is.
That word I think is perfect. I'm glad you said that. I think ultimately the question here isn't necessarily, maybe purpose is trying to define it too different, like you said, kind of too deep up. passion is really what the point is here. Like, what do people care about?
Yeah, right.
And that ultimately is what you want that's what the impact you want to have on the world is going to be applicable to, directly related to what you're passionate about. So, I think that one of the biggest things when I talk to people who are like super, not necessarily successful, but super happy, super satisfied with their lives, it's they found a way to apply their passion to their career. Because ultimately, I think one of the main things that separate the disconnect with people that really like their lives and the ones that secretly hate it, are the ones that my Liberty Mutual, Kim Brown, my branch manager, used to say, the people that live to work rather than work to live. It's like the people that have found out a way to incorporate their passion into their line of work.
Love what you do.
Is really the people who are most, these people who do the nonprofits. That's why they say some of the people that make most money are some of the unhappiest people on the planet. These people who make nothing doing a nonprofit are infinitely happier than a lot of people. So I'm going to go into I asked that, let's see. So the post that I put up on social media here was, so our first episode is going to be on purpose and what that means to each of us in regard to what we want our lives to be about. Same thing we were just talking about. So I want to ask you guys if something, somebody asked you, I asked the eulogy question, and basically I posed that open-ended to everyone else, and we got a lot of responses, which I asked them. I said, if you don't want me to name you, let me know. Nobody said that. So if I say your name, you don't want me to use it, let me know. But let's see. Steven Ramirez was a good response. I met him. He's in a writers group that I'm in online, and his response to that was for people to remember me for. Well, I'm not sure if you recall. He and I have had conversations about it, but do you remember what I told you when you asked about where I want to go with my writing? My answer was not to be famous. I just love entertaining people. I enjoy making people smile and laugh. It's like music. Despite what goes on in the world right now, like racism, religion, conflicts, psychotic politicians, I'm assuming he's referring to one in particular, but whatever. Let's not get political, I guess. But I've seen groups of people, let's be real, how many people don't think that? I've seen groups of people that look beyond the spectrum of appearances and beliefs and bask in the one thing that brings peace. If there's one thing I ever want to contribute to the world, whether it's with my writing, personality, whatever, it's that I can bring people together to enjoy the better things in life rather than stray apart over differences. All of it traces back to my enjoyment of others' laughter. I'm going to skip a couple parts here. Us writers can tend to get, as the name implies, a little bit wordy. We're wordsmiths, that's what we'd like to do. Though I will be honest, if my writing and this is the part we all need to acknowledge, I appreciate that he was real, Steven. Shout out, pound it. Though I will be honest, if my writing does happen to get huge reception, I wouldn't mind the glory. And who would? LOL. But hey, even if it doesn't, it still wouldn't bother me. And then he talks about he streams on Twitch some video gaming things, and his goal, like I said, isn't for attention; it's entertaining for him. So, really good response, I think, to that. Very very genuine.
Definitely got it figured out.
Yeah. So, and again, the whole goal is for the people out there that haven't thought about these things. I would like, these are good answers, and these are good things to get you thinking, and maybe things that can help guide you to. Assuming you care about what your passions are and purpose are. Like I said, some people may not, whatever. Diane Locklear, to make this a better world for our children and a safe world to live in. Simple to the point. The beautiful Josephine Fox, another fellow writer I know from the writers group. This was her response. Oh gosh, that's got me thinking. I'll come back to you after a bottle of red. All right. That was probably one of my favorite responses, actually. I like that. Josh Jones, another writer. Purpose, contribute as I am able to the literary world. I would also like to assist in the movement of, and this is really cool, the movement of converting lawns into food gardens. Be an example of reducing personal consumption of energy, processed food, and plastic items. That's a really good sentiment there. My motto... Yeah, it's a really good idea. My motto, we must change how we live if we want to stave off climate change. If we don't, we will be, in caps, forced to change as it occurs. So, again, somebody who's got a really good idea. I don't know Josh's story. I don't know what you've got going on with that, but I think that's a great thing. So, you've got that figured out. So, what kind of things could you do to, to get those wheels turning, to get that moving? Because that's a really cool thing, and I think we need a lot more of that in the world we live in. Let's see here. So that's basically it. I mean, those are the ones. Let's see. Jennifer Johnson Roberts, last one. It's simple. My purpose is to teach. It's not just teach mathematics to middle school kids, but to teach others how to be happy, how to enjoy the moment, how to worry less and play more. That's a really good comment there. How to have a cup half full, and how to find a ray of sunshine on the cloudiest of days. How to really live by loving those around them regardless of where they come from or where they're headed. I'm still teaching myself some of these things, but even through that, my purpose is being fulfilled as I set an example of happiness for others.
Sounds like the only math teacher that could probably make me enjoy math. So.
Jennifer, very well said. That was a really thoughtful comment, and I really appreciate that sentiment with children and whatnot. Because that's the kind of thing, to me, that kind of her can have a really big impact on kids, because that's really when you're molding these things.
It's always good to have a teacher who actually feels like their purpose is to teach.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of them, the ones that are just kind of miserable at it, like, well, I went to college and I got a degree and now I'm back here.
Perfect example. That's a passion. So she's so much better at it because she's not clocking in, clocking out.
Exactly.
So that's the kind of thing that, like I said, I mean, imagine if everyone in society cared that much about their job.
The world would be
How many people hate their career?
I think most.
I think most do.
I think the most innovative company that would ever be in existence would be a company that can allow people to transition from jobs fluidly if they're not happy.
Yes.
That's a perfect.
You pitched that to me, didn't you, Johnny?
That would be because you would be like, really cool, I don't feel like I'll be stressed about this, and I'll feel like
kind of like a counselor consulting thing for careers.
Yeah, it's almost like not consulting or counseling, but like you can make a move like there'll be like a purgatory. Like that's
jumping from internship to internship.
So you're saying like placing, like knowing the positions and filling them.
Back to Capture Corp. So I was talking to Myron Lewis before I came here, and I was like, imagine all the boys and girls that play basketball in college and they don't get drafted or they don't have jobs. They can come and work for Capture Corp as a way to find out what they want to do.
It's kind of like a huggy feely version of a headhunter. It sounds like headhunters try to fill corporate positions, but that's like you care more about
funneled into just one set.
It's like a therapy component.
Like a fucking entry level position job somewhere.
You're not taking a resume. You're figuring out what they care about and then giving them.
Hell, that's a good thing to put on.
But they have like programs like that for schools, though, man. They have programs like that, like
but I don't know if they're branded that way, though. They're not really branded. They're branded for filling a position. How do I fill the position? They're not concerned about the people they're filling it with.
Yeah,
they're concerned about the corporation.
That company would have to do a lot of PR with like manufacturers.
They'd have to prove themselves to other corporations.
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it's not really something you have to sell, though. Like, there's unemployed millennials. We're trying to find a way to employ them. It's not something hard to sell.
Well, but you'd have to, because you'd be hiring them out to other corporations, so you'd have to be able to let them know that you've got a reliable workforce. So they might.
I think that would have to start out as almost like not a counseling thing, because that's the.
It's possible. I'm not saying it's possible. It's doable.
It's like getting someone to tell you all the things they're interested in. And they have like 5 or 6 different things they can do, and then they can compare to like one of those tests we took in school, but it's like more interactive.
But that's
you have to do things. You know what I'm saying?
It actually jumps you back and forth between what the test says.
It's not an aptitude test. It really is.
Like why the fuck are we 20, 30, like 20? Like on average, what's the average rate that people go to school and stop? 25, maybe 24, maybe 21. 22. But what says a human being should stop learning at that age? Why can't we continue learning until 50 and continue learning? You know what I'm saying? Like
that's how the world should work, man.
That's
exactly right. That's the kind of thing that I think we need more. Our generation, I think, has that in us.
Because we can multitask, dude, and we have more opportunities to multitask.
Technology, a lot of it has, there's a lot of different moving parts that contribute.
It's like there's stress in not having options, but we're realizing that we do have options.
So we kind of are the snowflake generation now. We're talking about it, it's like we care and we feel more.
Yeah, we do.
We gotta create something, dude. Because
I'm proud. I'm a proud snowflake.
I'm a proud snowflake. I'm falling down hard.
Ain't nobody out there just like
I'm the warmest snowflake you're ever gonna meet. So I think that's a really good point. I think that's a good That's perfect. You know, that applies perfectly to what it is that we're talking about. Let's see, what other things in terms of things that you can actually apply? What practically? You know, we can talk for days about how to figure stuff out, but what kinds of things? Let's apply it. Let's say apply it to career, because I think career defines the quality. That's probably the prime. Besides your relationships, your career is your next component that's defining the quality of your life, right?
Yeah.
So how, like, what kinds of things? How can one transit? Because right now, the way things work, you gotta pay the bills. You can't. I mean, let's be honest. Not all of us can chase a dream.
Well, it's like the media tries to. Well, I mean, there's other media.
We're fed it our whole life.
But
we're fed this
it depends on what
rigid structure,
what you're interested in your personal life, because depending on what you look at and follow in terms of media or in terms of lifestyles, things you just like to look at, fashion, whatever.
Yeah.
Staying at home, living with your family while the economy is shit, even if it makes a lot of sense, they make it seem like you're a loser. That affects a lot of different things in terms of your mentality. When you know that Asians have been living in the same houses and they got how many companies in the family because they've been doing the same things for decades.
It's a cultural thing.
And it's 2017, so it's like they try to program your brain on doing different things. Like the fact that a lot of these, like, because I was involved in the transportation industry, a lot of these truck drivers, they didn't have homes, and they stayed on the road for 5 months at a time.
Yeah,
but they're making $400, how much, $800 a week, not spending any bills. But, someone will look at that as, okay, loss of life, or, the quality of life is lower, but they might love it. It's all
they're predispositions, and those are things we're conditioned our whole lives.
Yeah.
We're fed that, that's why, literally why I didn't write until my mom died. My mom told me my whole life, write, you love it. I love that you love it. Write, do it. My dad, shout out, thanks a lot. Not ashamed to say that. My dad, and that, even a lot of that side of the family, really hated it. All, gotta go to college. Gotta get a quote, respectable career. Chasing, people that do those things, people that give up they call it the real world. Give me a break, man. The real world is miserable. The real world sucks. I don't want to be in that world. I want to be happy. And that's the point. Like why is it like that?
Because society says so.
But why though? Why has everyone? And that's how it's always been. Let's be real. I think, and again, I think our generation though is contributing positively to that. I think we are getting, like, your business.
Because we're the ones that ask why. We're the ones that go, why are we doing this way? Why, like, all the older generation wants to run things a certain way, and they want to do it all. They want to be mean to people that are, they want to be mean to people of different races other than white. They want to be.
Good point.
They, there's a lot of racism. They want to knock it, the transgender,
the whole,
gay. Every hot button topic of this generation is brought on by the last generation.
Right.
And we're all
the one before
here,
them.
Exactly. And we're all sitting here. This generation, the generation that's going to be in charge in 20 years, that is lining themselves up to be the leaders. One of our purposes right now is to prepare ourselves to be the ones leading the world in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And to do that, we have to get these old farts in every corner of whatever to see that.
Respectfully so. But you are,
from him.
Most politicians are old farts.
No, they are. And the fact that we've got so many of them in our leadership is part of what makes us sit here and just be like, this is not how it should be, but your 75-year-old brain can't see it that way.
Do you think in each of those generations, though, there were people like us having this conversation? This is the problem.
This conversation is going to have to be
This is the problem. The people that end up running the world are the people that desire control. They desire power. They desire status. The people like us, I don't care about writing a damn law and telling other people how to live.
I'm not trying to
Those people, that's my point.
Yeah.
Those people are the ones that end up writing laws. It's fundamentally the way society is structured from the very beginning is flawed. It's not run by people that are. I mean, honestly, if you look at a lot of papers, they're psychopaths. They're people that lack empathy and desire,
very high
or sociopaths. They're the smartest people on the planet. I will give them credit for that. They are very
really
intelligent, but they lack empathy and they desire the wrong
they're
things.
They're stuck in their ways.
So that's, I think, going to have to be our generation's priority. We have to be aware of that.
We have to be willing to progress. We can't be stuck.
We need vigilantes. We need people that are willing to do the thing. Like, you know, like everybody jokes about the Clintons like knocking people off or whatever from the path to power.
Right.
We need a vigilante who will do it to them. I'm just joking, by the way. For any law enforcement listening. What?
First Amendment, dude.
How can be forbidden?
First Amendment.
First Amendment,
That's a
man.
good point.
Yeah, right?
Say whatever the hell you want, dude.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it.
And the Second Amendment
But if I do-
protect those vigilantes with their arms and
Right.
stuff, so you know.
Like V for Vendetta. I mean, the perfect illustration of what we're talking about.
Oh,
We
no,
need
the
one of those
perfect-
guys.
Yeah,
The
we
perfect
do.
illustration of what we're talking about is Fight Club.
Yeah.
That's I was about to say that earlier.
Yes.
Fight Club.
Yeah.
Like a United airplane.
Yeah.
Oh, let's be a little bit quieter about that.
Right? Just like,
We got some sons of United in there.
you know what you guys should
No, I'm
do?
just saying 'cause that's a meme now.
No, it is.
How come you guys? I mean, it sounds like it sounds like you need to like write. It sounds like you need to write like a script and just have somebody act it out or just act it out, and have like a you know what I'm saying?
Honestly,
Because it sounds like if you do the
so
script,
long,
like make it like you're sitting in a room and it's just like you but it's about the dialogue, you know?
Wait, what are you talking about? Like,
Because I mean, the type of stuff you're talking about, it seems like people would be more entertained if they saw like a visual with the conversation.
yeah,
You know?
I mean,
Oh yeah.
oh, you're talking about the podcast.
Yeah, like the
Oh,
podcast,
yeah.
man.
Well, that's our
Like-
point. We just don't have the resources.
Okay, gotcha.
If I got a camera, we can use it now.
I got it.
Actually,
I could probably get this hooked up.
yeah, listeners, anybody out there that would be willing to help
With some audio visual
Yeah. video,
gear.
you know, we got mic and everything, but it would be nice. Anybody that would be willing, because I think this is a good thing. This is going to catch on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are going to want to be a part of this because it's a movement. You know, that's the goal. You know, how the world should work. We all have our own thoughts and opinions. And we generally tend to agree, unless you're kind of a psychopath.
Very few times where we say no, that's not right to each other. So.
A lot of this stuff really makes a lot of sense. You know, it's just not for some reason.
Nobody's putting it out there.
Nobody's talking about it. Like, why? You
Because
know?
they're afraid to. Because of the
My
whole
plan-
farts up in Congress and whatever.
I don't get it though.
You know what? Postman for pale, for male, and for stale.
I like that.
Hey, I like
I
that too.
like that.
It's got the rhyme. Think of some alliteration or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's catchy. But yeah, I mean, I like that. So, and again, I do want to mention in the middle here to the listeners, if you guys do have anything, that, talking points or any feedback, responses, input, we would love to hear it. We're gonna have a social media presence that we can get everybody involved in. So this isn't a an us thing. I want it to be a everybody. You know?
I want it to be an us thing on a grand scale.
Yeah, because we all have to. I mean, none of this is ever going to change unless we all do.
Yeah.
So everybody's got to kind of be on board. Okay. This is 1 month later, actually, after that recording that you just heard. We're editing now, so we just realized how much that sucks. But I just wanted to put this in here real quick to thank everybody for the amount of support that we've gotten leading up to this point. You're about to hear the last part of it, which we recorded a couple nights ago, just to finish it up and tee up next episode. But again, the quality of the audio is going to improve. We've got a mic and everything set up now, so thank you guys for hanging in there. And sorry if you had to adjust the volume once or twice, but again, thank you guys, and I'm really, really excited about where this is going to go. So that's it for our chat tonight. To wrap things up for each of our episodes, I've written a poem, tacky or not, as a sort of testament to what we've been discussing. So the title for this particular piece of prose is Love Life. And it goes like this. I bet you're all like me, and you really couldn't care about the fame and fortune, you just wish that life was fair. So one day I decided to quit the system Inc. and go off all alone so I could ponder and could think. I learned a lot about me, 'twas so much I didn't know. If you truly want to know you, just get up and leave the show. Regret shall never taunt me, my purpose finally found. Contribute to this world, spreading smiles all around. No longer can I sit here watching terrifying news. Somebody's got to fix it. There's don'ts and then there's do's. So that's the basic story, how my writing came to be. One day I hope it changes and our lives are truly free. Arduous it may be, this road we have ahead. Surrender's not an option, I'll fight until I'm dead. So many people ask me, who cares, why do you fight? My answer, friend, is simple. My mother raised me right. We all know that we struggle. There's no point in hiding so. Just embrace collective hardship and all the stress let go. Be happy, love. Remember, our time on Earth goes fast. So make it worth your while and create an epic past. So that's it for tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. Next week, we're going to be talking about something I think the vast majority of us relate to, dating. We're going to be discussing the infinitely complex and unnecessarily awkward topic of how we men from Mars try to impress those weird creatures from Venus that we're told are women. To give us viewpoints from both sides of the field in the never-ending battle of the sexes, our guest will be the lovely Miss Allie Connor. We'll be approaching the topic first by taking a look at what I would call traditional dating, and then comparing it to what reality would dictate as modern dating, or for lack of a better term, swiping right or left. We'll talk about everything from our own opinions regarding the progression of labels, such as how we go from meeting to relationship, all the way to things on dating profiles that cause us to swipe right or left. Definitely looking forward to what will undoubtedly be one of our more lighter and probably funnier discussions. So thank you all again. I look forward to next week and our talk on how the world should work.